Welcome to Practical Shooting After Dark. On deck today, the hoser from the middle part of the country, Mr. Joel Park.
Hello, everyone.
You know, I was trying to think of something catchy like thunder.
He's the Iowa table expert, or what is it?
But you live in a
Osceola table.
You live in a boring place and don't have that cool of a skill set, Joel. So I'm fucked.
Yeah, like hanging out at dirt pits with my friends and shooting at cardboard targets. It's pretty exciting stuff.
It's
Yeah.
And
a man that needs no introduction.
Hoppy Cakes.
What's up, everybody? Hopefully it doesn't get too dark here too fast.
No, you're good.
We got like 20 minutes probably, hopefully.
My watch says sunset is in...
Yeah, we got like
30 minutes from now is what my watch says sunset.
All right, you guys know the rules. Good. We can get this done before the audio listeners can't see Hopkins anymore. Ha ha. All right, Hopkins, what do you want to talk about, man?
So I want to talk about like flavor of local matches and how they've been doing it kind of around KC lately, like this year specifically.
Let's talk.
So I think
Sounds
every
relevant
local
to my interest, Matt.
Does it? Since all the KC matches you shoot.
Yeah, I need to know about this.
Yeah. So just taking this as something maybe you can like do towards your local range or maybe suggest there. Mm-hmm. So we've kind of gone to where it's a 6-bay match, but there's 7 stages and they're not all 32 round stages like you'd think. So like a classifier is paired with a short course and like they'll sprinkle in some like 20 round, 24 round stages. They'll do a 30 round stage. Like,
are they unaware that 32 round stages are more fun, Matt?
I don't know if anybody's told them that yet, though.
Well, I know a place you could send them to get educated.
Yeah, you'll have to tell me about that afterwards. So.
Yes.
So I just think it's like good. So like people are getting the mix in there from short, medium, and long stages, like without actually like getting it mandated to them. And I think it's flowing really well. And everybody loves to shoot 7 stages. I think it's a great time. I've experimented with Mill Creek the last couple months where I did like, I think it was like 11 short stages or something like that with classifiers with them. And then I did like 8 stages and tried to double some up and didn't work real well. But like going to 5 bigger stages and a classifier and a short stage on one bay has worked out really well. So
what do you think? You like this better, Matt? Or
I like it better. I think it flows really well for the match. The matches don't take a long time to shoot. All the bays take basically the same amount of time to run. So you're not getting a lot of backup. It's good variety. I think no one's like duplicating everything. A lot of people are not just Mill Creek though, but like the other local clubs like Pioneer and Higginsville. Higginsville's doing really well, so they've actually got great matches so far this year. Weather's not been great for the Midwest, but they've had I'm very impressed with how they're doing it. And they're doing 7 stages, so.
So when did this change start?
I don't know, but it's like the first year I've recognized it. So I don't know if it's kind of like progressed over what people have heard and like they've tried a double and a couple short ones and got no bad feedback. So they're like, yeah, let's just keep doing that. Like people seem to enjoy it. So
the clubs around me have gone to 7 stages as well. Some of them. So that's been, I mean, I think that's good. Like I'm fortunate that the clubs around me are good clubs. Well, there's one new one though. It kind of, we'll see how that goes, but I think it'll be fine. But yeah, the clubs around me are all right.
Do your club matches both do like one classifier a month then?
I think they might have classifier matches as well, but I don't usually show up for those.
No.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, we do one a month and then one classifier match.
We do that too, where it used to be before, like when I first started shooting, there was like the month for classifiers, and then you have a match of all that, and then if you wanted to like change your classification, you had to wait till the next year or go to some other club. So we still have that, but I like that we just do one classifier a month, and so that way it's kind of like, you know, if you're constantly improving, you get, I guess, more bites at the apple, and you know.
Well, I think one classifier a month is normal. That'd be the standard, right?
We did not do that for quite a while.
That's
So,
very strange, sir.
wow. But anyway, I like that we do that. And then, yeah, we partner that with a short course. So something like 12 rounds or so. And then we specify for match flow, they stay hot. So you shoot whichever one, like maybe it's a classifier, it's like 1 or 2 strings or just, 1 string, whatever. You stay hot and then you go over and you shoot the short course afterwards. And that helped with match flow.
I like it.
Yeah.
All right, Joel. What's on deck?
Well,
What do you want to talk about?
I want to talk about having people look at your shooting. So something I've done a lot lately is having other people look at my shooting. Just thinking about it logically. I mean, I'm shooting okay, but obviously there are areas to improve. So having someone else tell me what they think isn't ever going to be a bad idea as long as it's done in the right way. So I've talked about training group a million times. That's a no-brainer because like you have a credible instructor, watching your shooting and picking out the areas you could improve. If you don't want to go that route, even just having a friend or somebody that knows what's up for shooting, send them your video. Be like, hey, what do you think about this? What do you think I could be doing better at? Or like one of my friends who's in B class, like I've learned a lot because he thinks he learns differently than I do. He understands the sport. He's not an idiot. So like me sending it to him, he's like, hey, do you ever notice whenever you're always doing this, or every time I see this kind of a stage, you do this? And it's like, no, I never really thought of that. So not always, I mean, yeah, I'll take my own match videos home and I'll watch them over and over again. But having a fresh set of eyes look at your shooting, I think, is a good idea. The wrong way to do it would be like to post it on Instagram or Facebook, like, hey, let me know what you think of my shooting. If you have anything to improve, comment below.
What if you're a girl?
Okay. But having specific people,
Dude, you're like what, Keanu Reeves in The Matrix, dodging all those bullets on that one, Joel.
Yes. What are you telling me, that I can dodge bullets? So yeah, like picking out specific people that understand the sport regardless of skill level. Like, hey, what do you see in this? What do you what do you think I should be working on, or what do you notice from my shooting? So I mean, you might not learn anything. Maybe they're like, yeah, everything is awesome. I wish I could shoot like that. But like when you want to get better, or if you're plateau or you're stalled, they might just pick out one little thing. Like, hey, I noticed every time you move, you always compress, or maybe you don't set up wide, or it looks like you prioritize reloading when you should really be running hard to the next position. Maybe you should start running hard and then do the reload. Maybe it's just little small stuff, but all those little things put together are quite good. So.
Well, Joel, do I need to drop that video that you made?
Oh yeah.
You just reminded me.
Drop it.
Okay.
But after this, we can have your full attention, full and undivided attention, sir.
That's never going to happen, and you know that.
I
am way too ADD for this bullshit.
You are.
All right. Well, Joel, having other people look at your shooting is best. So best practice, you're saying training group. What about you've done classes with other people, right? This has been good for you?
Yeah. Listening to what other people have to say, watching someone else, like anyone who writes a book about shooting, it's like credible, I will read that. Yeah, take a class from somebody else, or even just like training up. Like my friend Sasquatch Jared that works at CZ, like I'll go to KC to train with him, take 1,000 rounds. And it's just like we're just practicing, but it's like what do you notice? Like how do you train? What do you think's important? And we're like, hey, you always do this. This looks stupid. Or maybe I teach him something. Maybe it's like, hey, why don't you do this? But just learning from other people is a very good idea. And that's one thing I've enjoyed also just about training group is having like the opportunity to interview the top people in the sport. And I'm always like, hey, how do you practice? What do you think's important? What do you think is not important? How many rounds do you shoot? How often do you dry fire? Do you dry fire drills? What did you learn from that? How did you like improve the most? What do you do when you plateau? Because like everybody learns differently. So just finding how people learn, what they think's important. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think that's great.
Constantly be learning maybe is the condensed message.
Makes sense to me. Shall we move on, Mr. Joel?
I saw your message. Yes, we should, Ben.
I have not prepared a topic for this segment, gentlemen. I'm not going to lie to you.
I know. I saw your message.
I'm sorry, Matt.
What?
Is there any? I didn't prepare a topic. My apologies.
It's not like you to be unprepared.
Yeah, it is.
I know.
I don't know.
There's some sarcasm there.
Well, I mean, I spent a week training, but with like a CO gun.
I was gonna ask you about that in a way to not address it directly. How about? Okay, if you travel. This is a completely unscripted, so just
Okay.
run this up the flagpole and see what comes down. If you travel, let's say you travel to a different continent to train with somebody you're doing in classes, like, hey, this is the gun you're shooting. So like one time I know it was a 38 Super Stock 2, might be a CZ, maybe you're shooting a Glock 34. Like, and you have to perform. Maybe it's a SIG, maybe it's a carry optics, P320. I mean, who knows? You have to perform. Yeah. But okay, you have to perform. You're doing demos, or I mean, like, if I'm going to take a class from you, I want you to know what the hell you're doing. And so you obviously you can't look like a chump, and you're getting off the plane, whatever, and you've got this gun. How are you confident with that gun that you don't own, you've never shot before?
Well, I'm not confident with it, for one.
You're shooting at a high level, though.
Yeah, I'll test fire it a little if I can. But the truth is, I have a lot of guns at home that I train with, so I am going to be okay with a lot of different guns. So like I've done parts of my classes this year, like with a Glock. So you got to know how to use that. I have Shadow 2s, I have Shadows, I have M&Ps, I have all sorts of guns with holsters and magazines, and I will, before I think I'm going to need to use one of them, it is very common that I'll be out shooting one of those guns. And over time, it's been a very good exercise for me to learn different guns. I'll put it that way.
How about where they point differently though? Like where Glock, like 34, will point a lot differently than.
Yeah, they point differently.
How do you?
Fuck, dude, you just you have to train with it. What I've found is that if you train with a gun hard for about a week, you're going to get close to where you think you should be. Then there's you kind of learn the little parts that are always going to be an issue. Maybe you don't like the placement of the safety, or something like that. Something about the way the gun is set up that doesn't really work for you, but you kind of learn to live with it and get around it, and you get close in a week of training to where you want to be at. You're not going to be as good as you are with your own stuff, but you'll be okay. You'll be proficient.
It's raining on me. Hold on, I gotta go inside.
Okay. Well,
what about timing the gun then, Ben? Because you might be shooting hot.
No, you're not timing it.
Okay.
Forget that shit. You're just gonna have to see what the sights are doing and roll.
It's raining.
Yeah. So
we need to get like an umbrella, Matt. Like we need one of those umbrella hats. He needs one of those hats that's an umbrella.
Oh, Matt, you're getting pissed on. Are you okay? He's okay now. He's survived. All right. So once you learn a gun, once you put in the time to kind of get along with it, recalling that or getting back on that gun later on is pretty easy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you put in a couple weeks to shoot a Glock. There's some stuff you like, some stuff you won't, but you'll be okay with it when you pull it out 6 months later and shoot it a little bit more.
Okay. Because like I truly believe like if you wanted to shoot a Glock as well as you shoot your Tanfos, I don't have any doubt that you could do that. Or a Beretta 92 again, or SIG 20. But so it's like the shooting abilities you have. I mean, like your grip, that all carries over, of course. But there's still like learning the reloads and stuff. That would be extremely tough to adjust. So
yeah, it is. You just have to manage your own expectations. Say, hey, you are not going to be subconsciously just running around throwing mags in the gun and squirting bullets, like index hosing stuff. You're not going to do that. You have to be very attentive to the sights and the mechanics and that sort of shit. But yeah, you can make those adjustments. That's no problem. So yeah, as you know, I spent a week shooting CO.
Yeah.
which was a little with a different gun than what I'm used to, but it was fine. It was good. It's good for me.
So how was the first day compared to the last day? I'm assuming by the last day you were
It was fun.
more
It was
tuned
good.
up, but
No,
yeah.
I mean, I was in a week. I went from like, okay, I mean, I have CO guns. I shoot them on occasion because I have to understand how the dots work.
Hmm.
And then by the end, it's I am shooting kind of the, where you see guys shooting a dot really good and they're like look superhuman when they transition out to steel. They're
Yeah.
like shredding close stuff. They go ding 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 and they shoot down a bunch of steel. Like
Yeah.
I was doing that by the end. I was like had a couple superhuman runs. Not, I mean, not really superhuman, but it feels that way when you're doing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You just see a little flash of the dot. And you're like, ding, 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 like shooting steel down.
And then when you get home and you pick up your Tanfos again, do
Oh my
those
God.
feel like foreign, or it was just like, oh, we're good to go again? Like, let's go.
It feels fine. It feels
Okay.
good.
I never
Yeah.
got like some people can switch between guns, or like Dave Savigny comes to mind where he won with like
He's
everything.
fucking master with that.
Yeah, like
It
Dave.
takes a lot, so I've thought about it and I've tried to do it, like switch back between CO and production.
Yeah.
It's a skill in itself.
Yeah, it's really hard. I do it mostly just to be a better shooting teacher, to understand more of the struggles with different guns. Shooting limited has been good for me. I've learned a lot doing that, just because a little more recoil and all that shit. It's like, okay, this and this part of it are different, but these other parts are kind of the same. So that's been helpful for me.
Interesting, because I've always like I've shot your limited guns. And I've thought so hard, like just put two of those in my cart and buy like a pair of them. I'm thinking, well, it's a distraction.
It
If I
is.
said give somebody else, like if they want to be good, like I have a stack of stock twos, just shoot those, you know?
Well, the flip side to what I'm saying is pick a gun and practice with it, get really good with it, and then with only a little bit of work, those skills transfer over to other guns.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
So what you really should do if you want to be really, really good is pick a gun and practice.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, let's do a question. I just started listening to your podcast recently, so I'm not sure if you've covered this in the past. I live in Canada, been shooting for 3 seasons now. A lot of the most active and experienced shooters are on the senior side of the hill. Always fun to talk to and shoot with, and continue to do a lot for the sport. The other demographic of shooters are at an estimate 40 and up in age. My concern is that except for the rare occasion, there is very little youth involved. Of course, there are some 20 or 30-year-olds, but only a handful that I've seen that could be considered junior. My question: should this be a concern with the lack of junior shooters for the sport's future growth? And he says to a greater extent shooting in Canada, like in parentheses, or if IPSC, USPSA is a place that can consistently be grown through an older demographic wanting to take up the sport. Bonus question: if the lack of youth is a concern, how do you promote youth in the sport when anything to do with guns is vilified in today's culture?
Interesting question. The first thing that comes to mind for me is just finances. Like if you're having like a 12-year-old, no?
No, yeah, I agree.
Oh, like you have like a 12-year-old kid, maybe they're interested, but if you shoot now and to afford like a second gun, and then you need the magazines and a belt setup and all that stuff, plus ammo for you to train and ammo for the kid to train, and both your match fees and travel. I mean, maybe not everybody can afford that. So I think that's why you look at
There's
like
a lot
that.
of functional adults that can't afford this shit.
Yeah, but it's like that 21 mark, like the kid's got his own job, then, hey, I can buy my own gun and buy my own ammo, and maybe I can't buy as much ammo as I want, but you're kind of supporting yourself as opposed to like having your parents, foot the bill for all that stuff.
Fuck. Yeah. I don't know how much. I'm a big believer that in the marketing for this. It's kind of like, to me, when I saw what this was, I immediately knew that I wanted to do it.
Dude, me too. I saw it at an indoor shooting range where I went there. I was shooting on a lane static. I looked in there. I'm like, what are those dudes doing? I'm like, that looks awesome. What do I have to do to try that?
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like, yeah, that's pretty cool. I want to do that. I don't really care what it costs. I want it to happen. So building people being aware of the sport, like that's really good. As far as I don't know. As far as trying to talk people into it, like if you're aware of it, I'm not really going to talk you into doing it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're aware and it's not your thing, I think that's fine. Like go do something else. But if you want to do this thing, you could totally come do it.
Well, one thing? Go ahead. Sorry.
I don't think we have enough as far as the political side of it. There's not enough people doing this that it's going to move the needle at all.
No, not at all. No way.
It's irrelevant from that perspective.
Yeah. I mean, the biggest thing on that influence can be is like if people see like content that's put out there, and like look at that and say, oh, that's like a sport maybe, but like the people that are seeing all that stuff already like are into guns and stuff already, so like that's gonna have no swing at all. Now, I think on this kind of sport, you're gonna get people show up when they do. I don't think you need to actively go out and find like younger demographic to shoot or whatever. So
yeah, I mean, if you're a parent, if you want to facilitate your kids going, I think that's cool. That's a nice thing to do. I would not be the type that would be pushing my kid to do this.
No, not at all.
If they don't want to do it, or if they're not pumped about it. If it's not a hell yeah, then it's then okay, then it's a no.
And I think
really want to.
Steel Challenge is a good format for that for kids because they can use like a rimfire, a 1022 or a 22 handgun. You know, like the ammo's inexpensive. They don't have to buy a holster and all that stuff.
So you're saying that Steel Challenge is for children, sir?
I did not say that. You did. I said it has a purpose. You can read into that however you'd like to.
Controversial at some point.
I would never do such a thing.
Chicken.
No, I think Steel Challenge is a good place for kids. Just for that, it's low startup. You know, you start with a rifle, and if they like it, they get hooked. Maybe progress to something else.
Yeah. Well, I can't say that I'm super concerned with the lack of youth in the sport. I'm just not, because people kind of cycle in their 30s when they have some money. It's like racing cars.
Yep, exactly. Or the other thing I see is like right after retirement, a lot of people come in then.
Yeah, when they have time and money usually.
Yes, exactly.
So, no, I think as far as that goes, the USPSA, I mean, both USPSA as a discipline and the sport of shooting sports have been growing. It's not going to move the needle politically, I don't think.
No way, dude. Like not at all.
Yeah.
Would like 4 million people vote last presidential election or something?
4 million
people.
I think more than 4 million people voted in the presidential election.
Was it 40 million then or whatever? I don't remember.
That also sounds low.
I don't know.
But like we're not even a blip on the radar on that. If you put all the sports and all the No,
I think the best advertising for the sport is just you post like videos if you do on social media about the sport. Like I've had friends, hey, how do you do that? Or that looks interesting. What would I need to do to get involved? And then if you want to help them out, like give them if you don't like them, you could just give them the contact and they go, well, here's the club info. And if you like them, maybe you take them out and practice. So this is what I have. I've got 2 guns. You could shoot one or whatever, But word of mouth, I think, is the best marketing for USPSA for sure.
Absolutely.
And it can be intimidating getting started. So that way you have like somebody showing you what's up and like how to act.
If you like showed up and like you got put on Joel's squad, it'd be like getting squatted with Superman.
If Superman was a like dorky middle-aged dude, that was way too helpful. Yeah.
Just try to be nice.
I don't feel bad, Joel. I'm the asshole middle-aged dude.
You are. No, you like to pretend to be rude online, but you are quite nice in person, sir.
I'm not rude. I'm not rude in person. I'm not even pretending to be rude.
Oh, you're like one of the nicest guys I know.
Wow. How dare you? On that note,
that's just real talk, sir.
If you have a question you'd like the answer to, go to bensager.com, send us your question, and we will banter about it. It'd be great.